Hello, I'm Karen Harrison. Welcome to April Reiki call. My website is karenharrison.net, and you can find this podcast on Google Play, Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, and my YouTube channel, Karen Harrison Reiki, and also my website at www.karenharrison.net. So my guest is Day Farley, and our topic is Reiki and substance abuse. Day is a Usui Reiki master and addiction counselor in Colorado and spiritual teacher, and has helped hundreds of people work with Reiki, open up to Reiki, to receive Reiki, to help with all sorts of substance abuse issues. So I'm very excited to have him here to share his knowledge. And yeah, he's waving there. So welcome, Day. How are you tonight?
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. Been looking forward to this ever since it's been presented to me, just to get it out to the public about what I do. Like what Karen says, I am a drug and alcohol counselor. I do groups. I do meditation. I do Reiki meditation with them, which they sit in the chair, or I have a couple tables, and I put one hand behind their neck and one hand in front of their head and down. I don't touch them. It's and with like I was saying before, it they each house I take care of about 4 houses, then I go to a detox facility once a week to do it. The and they really enjoy it. They say, "When's Day coming to do Reiki? When is this going to happen?" I don't know what it is, but I just enjoy them wanting to receive this sort of higher power, because in recovery in general, with the 12 steps, having had a power greater than ourselves, resource, sanity, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understand Him. I believe that's a big part of it. It can release certain chemicals to get to know the unknown, I should say, because we're all connected. We all need each other. This is another form of coming together, to be rooted together, to understand each other through energy. And
very cool. Can I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So you go to different substance abuse centers, houses where people are living, and offer Reiki treatments. About how long of that treatment do you do?
It's the same company. It's called Rocky Mountain Detox, and then we have what we call Colorado Addiction Recovery Services in Denver. It's all part of the umbrella, same owners.
So how long Reiki treatments do you offer to people?
How long are they? Yeah, I'd say probably about an hour. I usually talk a little bit about it, educate them, and then we do a session, and then after we talk about what they experienced. Some see colors, some have emotions that come out in the emotional detox form. Some people cry, a whole bunch of emotions go through, and then we talk about those emotions.
Wow. So you're able to give a full hour treatment to multiple people.
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. And is that volunteer, or is that as part of your job?
No, it's part of my job.
Wow. So your center actually pays you to give Reiki to the what do you call them? Clients, house members?
Yeah, the clients there, because I know on the regular, when you go into a private studio to have it done, Reiki done, it can take up to an hour and a half to have those done, but I only have an hour to do. So I incorporate the meditation with giving people the energy and taking them through a guided meditation.
I think that's really awesome that your center pays for that and they get a full hour. That's pretty amazing. What a blessing. What sort of benefits have you seen people receive from the Reiki sessions?
Oh, wow. There are tons. Let's see, calmer mind, creative boost, better memory, enhanced personal awareness, relief from traumatic experience. If they continue to talk about it, the therapy doesn't end. Right when it's over, they have to process what went on. Decreased anxiety or depression symptoms, decrease in blood pressure, sense of connection with others, relationship with a higher power, slow heartbeat, resting nerves, patience, and the list can go on.
Wow. Well, that's a lot of benefits that you've seen. How many years have you been providing Reiki for clients with substance abuse?
About 3 years, going on 3 years.
Uh-huh.
So I never get old. It never gets tiring. Because I know it can. I never say, oh, I have to do this the next day. It always rejuvenates myself in order to help them.
Mm-hmm. Are you aware of other substance abuse centers that have someone providing Reiki on staff as part of the services?
I do not, but I have heard from other clients that places have done that, some sort of meditation or yoga, but not particularly Reiki.
Mhm.
You know, I've read articles about it, but it doesn't happen very often.
Mhm.
I have found.
Yeah, well, it sounds like your center is a pioneer and you get to be at the forefront. That's very exciting. And one of the things that you might talk to your center about is contacting the Center for Reiki Research.org and seeing if they could help you design some sort of pilot study on Reiki and substance abuse, you know, where you would develop surveys or procedures to measure the effectiveness of Reiki with substance abuse clients. And that could be published.
It's a good idea.
I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
So with substance abuse, you know, oftentimes I understand there's triggers that will lead people to substance abuse.
Hmm.
You know, probably things like stress, anxiety, depression.
Yeah.
It certainly leads me to chocolate and peanut butter after the self-Reiki. For my move, I was a little worried because I had the Reiki, I had the chocolate, but the peanut butter was packed away. Luckily,
Oh,
it did not get to the peanut butter stage. Anyway, how does Reiki help with the triggers for substance abuse?
you know, I think with giving somebody the energy that they need and the relaxation that come along with the others, like lowering blood pressure, being centered, forgetting where you are for a while. I mean that in terms of to another consciousness. You're not going to be thinking about anything. I kind of think about it as the movie Men in Black when they wave that pen and it zaps somebody's memory. I don't know if you've all seen that, but it like takes care of everything. It's
Uh-huh.
sort of like that where you feel really where nothing is in your mind to where the energy is completely present, the energy and the divine of everything. So you're not going to have those kind of thoughts or triggers. But with that said, it has to be practiced on a daily basis
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
in order to get the energy.
Yes. Have you had the opportunity to train any people with substance abuse issues on how to do self-Reiki?
No, I have not. I have a YouTube channel, Shine on Reiki. It's on YouTube where people will like guide people through hand placements
Mhm.
to do that. And some of our clients have used that during to try to get to sleep or when they wake up in the morning.
Okay, well, that sounds good. So
Yeah.
maybe that's in your future to teach classes.
Yes.
That would be great. Well, how often are you able to give the clients a Reiki treatment?
Up to 3 to 4 times a week.
Really?
Yeah, I go from 4 houses, and then once a week I go to a detox place, which and that's 5. So
Oh, so you mean like 5 days a week you would be giving Reiki, but the same person is not receiving 3 or 4 hours of Reiki a week.
certain time depends how long they have stayed. Like on our residential, I forgot to mention this, our 4 residential facilities in outside of Denver, they stay 30 days. So every week they come. So they get it about on an average 7-8 times a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. I had no idea. I really think this deserves a research study.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. What about withdrawal symptoms? I know when someone goes, through alcohol or drug detox, they can have withdrawal symptoms. Can you tell us about what sort of symptoms happen with withdrawal and how Reiki can help with them?
Well, I know, withdrawal symptoms, there's a lot of physical and mental symptoms, such as sweating, sickness, shaking, mental cravings, achiness, and so on. And that goes along with like what you talked about the triggers. I believe, now that we're talking with this question, is that once the energy goes through your body and the chakras align with each other and they're all in the same, they all come together and all the energy comes together. Withdrawal happens when you have the craving from alcohol and drugs. I believe when you put energy through, it's a detox to where you have the light and the universe go through your body, but the withdrawal, having that energy come through your body and having that connection of the life force go through the clients, and they feel a lot better than that, and the anticipation of having that happen as well. It stops, and they have said, I feel a lot better. I don't like if somebody was having an angry moment before, or somebody just coming into detox a day later, it's like night and day. They feel so much better. Not saying that the drink or drug will creep up, but it does help stop the craving for them, and maybe a few hours after.
Mhm,
But again, we have to keep practicing that.
mhm. So what is it you're having them practice if they're not trained in Reiki?
No, I mean having them come to the group
Mhm.
whenever they're to open themselves up to the fact that it can help heal ailments such as this,
Mhm.
just to have them start to open up first.
Mhm. Okay. Well, let me see if anybody has any questions about anything so far for a day.
Okay.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead, Cindy.
Is it ethical to do Reiki on a person with substance abuse if they don't ask for it or they don't know that you would be doing it? And if it is ethical to do that, have you had any experience with it in terms of its efficacy?
Most times our groups are mandatory, but if somebody doesn't feel comfortable, I do a couple things before I start. I say I'm not going to touch anybody, and does anybody have any boundary issues with me getting close to them or loud noises? Because with it, I add sound healing and it gets loud. The senses get to be more developed. So I asked them, because some of them may have PTSD or trauma. So I'm on their same line with them if they have any. And I'm always aware of that at all time. And if they don't want to come to group and they feel that uncomfortable, they can do something else with their time.
Okay, and I would add that if you can ask someone about giving them Reiki before you do a Reiki session for them, do. If it's not possible to ask them for whatever reason, our manual says that you can say a prayer and ask for permission from their higher self or their soul, and then see what guidance that you feel from that. And if you're guided to go ahead, you can send it. Reiki will not cause any harm. And if a person on some level does not want it, then the Reiki energy will not affect the person.
Good point. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy.
Okay, does anybody else have any questions? Okay. So I guess a question I had about, the substance abuse, do people with substance abuse do better with self-Reiki or receiving treatments or both? But if you're not teaching Reiki yet, then you wouldn't have seen that. But I am, assuming that if you were able to teach them and they were able to give themselves daily Reiki in conjunction with the sessions that you're giving them, that might provide even more benefit.
Yeah, I've thought about that. I don't know about the financial wave of it, or how would that, I don't know how that would play out. That would be more things I would have to consult with in order to do that. But that's something that is, now that I'm thinking of, could ask.
Yes, I'm thinking that if your center is allowing you to give Reiki as part of your treatment, that it could be perhaps even more cost effective if they were able to have you teach a class, maybe a shorter class, 2,
Yeah.
3, 5 hours, and teach it to the residents. That could be really good. I know that some of my people that work in hospitals have taught Reiki to nurses in
Oh,
hospitals.
really? Okay.
Mhm. Yes.
And it wouldn't really have to, if our business doesn't have a whole lot of money, then you don't have to really, and Reiki is more of a benefit to help others. If that would have come down to it, I wouldn't want to charge them extra or think about doing that, or asking the owners or the president to, pay me. It'd be more of a spiritual device to
Mhm.
help as a whole. And that's a great idea. I need to consider that.
Yeah, I think that would be very cool. Yeah,
Give me
Kristen,
some good ideas.
good. Go ahead, Kristen.
Hi. So I apologize if I missed this part on your introduction, but I would love to know what drew you to this work. What drew you to Reiki, and what drew you into working with people that struggle with substance abuse?
But remember, about 6 or 7 years ago, I got a Reiki massage, and I loved it so much that I asked, where can I learn this? And that's when I found Karen, and she taught me 1 and 2. And then I went on to do the Shiki Royal Reiki. That's how you pronounce it. Here in Colorado. But I've been an addict. I've been clean and sober for 24 years, and I've gone to certain places to get spiritual retreats, sweat lodges, stuff like that, to get different levels of energy. And this is the one that I found that I can use on a daily basis, and it never gets old. Because I always want to go that next, I always want to go that next plateau of highness with my consciousness. And why not do it with people that I understand? So
Wonderful. Well, that's very exciting to hear that, you know, Reiki has been an important part of your support in your own recovery process. And yes, it's very handy. You may not be able to go to a sweat lodge every day or every week, but you always have access to Reiki anytime
yes,
for all the stresses of daily living.
and the energy is always there within us.
Mm-hmm.
We're a walking ball of energy.
Yeah. So you also talked about, you know, the emotional and mental issues that happen with substance abuse. How have you seen Reiki help with those?
Mental and physical, just like, I don't know how to.
Yeah, like emotional and mental, you know, emotional, like, well, the stress, anxiety, mental, maybe the worries, maybe negative self-talk, you know, maybe the
Yeah,
fatalistic thinking, you know, I'll never be able to be sober and clean. You know, I've been this way for X number of years. And
yes, that has happened. It happens every day at where in this field. But to put them in a position in order for them to do what I'm going to do, not a lot of people say, oh, this is not going to work. This is, when they're irritated or emotional or something goes on, something didn't go on in their way, then you sit them down, you have a session with them, and their whole perceptive changes with this energy. It makes them a calmer person. And so some people don't. Some people it doesn't work for, but the majority of them have a new perception on that it's okay right in this very moment, because that's all we have. Does that make sense?
So I'm curious about your comment about for some people it doesn't work. What leads you to believe that it doesn't work?
Well, I mean, I would say if they keep during the meditation process, if they keep opening their eyes or halfway through they walk away, it may be working and they don't know it. The energy may be flowing through them. That's how I meant to say that. But sometimes they get up and say, this isn't for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's what I meant by that.
Yes. Well, if they say this isn't for me, then I would think that was a clear sign. But otherwise, you know, it's possible that the energy may be working on them on some levels below their consciousness, and they're not aware of it, and you're not aware of it. And I don't know, I find with my students when I'm leading meditations, many of them open their eyes, and, you know, I don't find that that's a sign that it's not working at all.
Okay, yeah.
You know, they may just be looking around the room at some noise and attending to that. But yeah, we may not know exactly what the Reiki is doing, and it may work below their level of consciousness to affect the kind of deep healing that is needed. That healing may show up, you know, days or a week or more later.
That's true. And thank you for pointing that out, because I'm still learning as well.
Yeah. Well, what about anybody else on this call? You know, would anybody that has received Reiki, would you like to share an experience of how, you know, Reiki has helped you with, you know, any sort of cravings, whether they were called substance abuse or, you know, anything else? Could be sugar cravings. I've got that. Chocolate mostly. Okay, yeah, Kristen.
Well, just recently I had an experience where I got very upset and I used I mean like very, very upset, and I used Reiki to help ease that upset, even though it was still there. It wasn't like I didn't use it to brush it away, but it helped to lessen the burden of it. And that's something that when I was going through my addiction phase, it's so rare for me to come back to that feeling again, like where I'm theming for that, because it's been a while now, but sometimes I'll hit that, and it felt very much like that for me. So with that anger that I had, it was so concentrated and so intense. And so I just used Reiki, and it helped me so much to diffuse that and to see all the possibilities that I had, as opposed to, because, you know, when you get into that negative mindset, you're so focused on the bad outcomes, you know, you get angry or whatever, and then you're like, this is how it's going to be now. You know, your fear kicks in, you're worried, this is how it's going to be. And you see all the negative stuff. And when I did that, and it helped to just kind of like broaden my perspective and see all the possibilities, it was just such a relief. And it was just another beautiful reminder of how helpful Reiki is. And I was thankful for that. I would like to know, Day, your practices that you like to do, or daily Reiki or whatever. What you like to do for your self-help?
I give myself Reiki in the morning, or just sit there, hand placements, or have the light go through me. And, you know, something I just realized, it's kind of off topic, but with my name that my parents gave me, Day, is part of a name of a symbol, Dai, Daiku. I'm not going to indulge too much, but it's because it's, you know, you got to learn it. But how ironic. And I think about that all the time in my meditation as the energy goes through me. What a gift to have it already in place, and for my parents to name me that. I don't know if it's part of the universe that it all joins us together. So yeah, and then
that
I
is
take
pretty
some,
cool.
yeah, it is. I do some readings and absorb those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So what kind of readings do you do?
Like recovery readings. I have a book, Buddhism.
Mm-hmm.
I'm non-religious, so I kind of keep in mind with all religions. I listen to a lot of TED Talks or podcasts like Alan Watts, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, wonderful. Yeah, thanks for sharing your practice. You know, because our daily Reiki practice can be woven into our day. It can be woven into other practices that we do, and it's very flexible. It can be short or it can be longer. We can do it once or we can do it more times a day. I've recently had a lot of questions on my YouTube channel about how often should you give yourself Reiki every day? Well, there is no should. There's really nothing wrong. You know, I recommend at least 10 minutes a day, and you can do that anytime, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. You know, whatever works.
Yeah.
Well, Day, I'm wondering if you have any case examples, you know, that you could share with us without revealing client confidentiality, where someone has received, you know, multiple Reiki sessions in conjunction with their other treatment, and what sort of benefits you've seen happen with the person.
Yes. About a month ago, I have a couple instances. This young lady was giving energy to. As energy started flowing, she started to hold her passed away mother's hand, like reaching her hands out for them, like she was an angel protecting her, and it's okay if she is in a substance abuse program. And throughout the whole thing, she started to cry. And, you know, I just was how I wanted to do it was just keep on not making it more intense, just keeping the energy at a constant regular flow. And I was like, she's like, this is definitely a good cry. I haven't gotten that out in a long time. Another one is somebody said their third eye got opened and saw things that they'd never seen before that burned the middle of their head. And they started something about being free and wanting to be more free than ever before. But the first one with the mother, seeing your mom in her vision or in the meditation, stood out to me the most. Because I felt that connection.
Mhm. Sounds like that was very meaningful to her.
Yes, yes.
Well, that's very cool. So working with Reiki and addiction recovery sounds like it's very rewarding for you.
It is.
Yeah, I know I'm also a counselor. I don't work with substance abuse. It's one of the areas that I do not work with because I have no training and experience with it. But I found that Reiki often helps with emotional issues quicker than my counseling methods. You know, now there's certainly a place for counseling. You know, people need to talk and vent. They also need to get objective input on things. But after that part is done, then there's still some issues in the tissues that are encoded from the experience, the woundedness, whatever happened. And Reiki provides that kind of deep cleaning. It's kind of like moving your furniture and vacuuming where the furniture was to get all the dust bunnies that have
Mhm.
clearing that old stuff out so that you can have the memory, but without the pain and the trauma associated with the experience.
Yes. You know, and because it brings up the Reiki energy brings up that underlining issues. It's like a detox. You're detoxing these emotions,
Mhm.
and it makes it that much more powerful.
Mhm. So after a Reiki session, do you see some people go through a detox on their emotions?
Oh yeah, on a not very often, but give or take one or two times, you know, every week on the average, or that might happen. But when it happens, it really happens.
Okay, what sort of things have you seen happen?
I mean, I'm talking about when the emotions come out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when they come out, they really come out. It's not like half. It's like the flow keeps going.
Mhm.
And I take that as to where they are completely open to receiving the energy.
So that they might be expressing anger, sadness, resentment, remorse,
Mhm.
shame.
Bringing it all out in
Mhm.
a healthy way.
Okay, so you help them to then express those emotions in a healthy way.
Yes, after they're done, I talk to them, process what they went through. Like, for example, there was somebody that went through abuse as a child, and they haven't thought about it. They suppressed it, and it brought out through Reiki. So I talked to them, processed about what happened, and you know, just to 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 have clear, and all these things started, like forgiveness, and the anger started to, the anger was still there, but being as calm as he was, the anger was not as bad as it could be if it was done in another setting. If that makes sense.
Sure, you're saying the Reiki helped to provide a safe container where
Yes,
the client could express the emotions, but without doing harm to themselves or someone else.
correct. And they already felt safe within that containment in that room itself with the others, and obviously with me, or of course, he wouldn't express that to me.
Mhm.
So you can still use Reiki when that happens.
Yeah, so if someone
There's
starts to
times
express,
when, oh, I'm sorry.
that's okay, go ahead.
And there's been times talking to people when I still not hands-on, but very close Reiki while they were talking, breathing exercises, and that helps even more as well.
Mhm. Great. So using Reiki in conjunction with traditional treatment methods like therapy, medication, and support groups, that sounds like that's what your center does.
Mhm.
So you offer all those things, the individual therapy, group therapy, like medication for withdrawals,
Mhm.
and then the individual Reiki sessions, and then group meditations.
Right. Well, no, well, I just really I don't, sometimes I'll do the individuals, but most of the time I will do group. It's most of the time in group.
Oh, okay. So you're doing a group Reiki session.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Oh,
I didn't.
oh, okay. I thought they were getting an hour of individual Reiki.
No, 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 no. And I apologize
I
for,
thought, wow, that's a lot.
no, no, no. I'd be worn out.
Okay. So you're
I
doing,
apologize. It's a group where like most of the clients are in there.
okay. So you're leading a group Reiki meditation and
Yes,
some sound healing, and they're receiving an hour of that in a group.
yes. And every once in a while, sometimes I'll do individual.
Okay. All right. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So I know you'd mentioned the sound healing to me before. What sort of things do you bring into the sound healing and with Reiki?
Well, I can't afford the big giant crystal bowls, and I haven't been trained on those, but I will bring in a couple Bluetooth speakers and have like surround sound, which I'll put it behind their ear, front. I'll do a lot of different noises, rain sticks, voice, philosophical readings, stuff like that to make the effects. And then I'll change the tones, change the pitch and the volume. And then, as I do that, I actually give the sound coming out the attention it needs for Reiki.
Mm-hmm.
So there's even Reiki going through the sound. And I'll sometimes put the speaker right next to their heart so they can feel that vibration, or on top of their head as a hand placement.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's very cool.
Yeah.
One of the
It's
things,
nothing, no fancy. I can't afford to be like those fancy bowls.
well, I bet you could afford a drum.
I have a drum. I've used a drum.
Okay, great. So yeah, just draw some Reiki symbols over the drum and aim the drum in towards the body and do rhythmic beating. And
Yeah, I've done that.
well, wonderful. Yeah, you can take a Reiki drumming class out in Sedona, Arizona.
Really?
Site is reikiclasses.com. I went out there and took a Reiki drumming class. And I do that to help ground my students as part of the Reiki class, because they'll get kind of spacey and out of their bodies, and the energy gets really high in the room, and then people are kind of floating, and it's easier to learn the material if you're grounded.
Yes, absolutely.
So, and the Reiki drumming is, I mean, your clients can really feel that in their bodies, it provides that vibration.
It's like the heartbeat.
Hmm.
I just went to Sedona, which we climbed a mountain and they were drumming and meditating. Very different energy there.
Yeah, Sedona is wonderful. Okay, well, let's check in with our listeners and see if anybody has any questions, or if anyone would like to share an experience of working with Reiki and substance abuse. Okay, well, then I have another question for you, Day. You say
Okay.
Reiki meditation. So are these things that you have generated yourself, that you come up with, or are you using one of the scripts out of the Holy Fire Reiki Master Manual?
No, they're kind of on my own.
Yeah.
What I usually do, if we have time, I can like go through the process of how I do it. I don't necessarily have to do the meditation or.
Okay, well, we've got about 7 minutes, so whatever you'd like to do.
Well, okay, if you want less 7 minutes, we can, or 6 minutes or so, I can reenact how I do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so first of all, have people sit and just firmly on, just letting your eyes close, and whatever is under you, just be on it. Whatever fears you have, anxiety, doubts you have, just don't try to fight it. Just breathe with them, deep breaths. Then I have breathing, feeling the air go through from the bottom of your body all the way upwards to out of your head like 3 times. I do that with them. Then what I usually do is point a light in the middle of their head, which I usually go over to the newest person and put my hand, one hand in front, one hand behind, and then give them energy, saying I'm doing so. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Tell them the light is getting bigger. And then go down to the throat. One hand behind, one hand in front. What I usually say is the light is giving communication with the throat to the rest of the body. As the light goes down to the shoulders, we're turning into light. Breathe through the heart. So you feel your heartbeat, the energy and light beats through your arteries. Stomach. and have it flow to the roots. Have you be rooted into the universe, into the earth, into all the planets. Bending your spine with the light down inside the earth. That's it. It's 1 minute short. But of course I do it longer, but you know, I do it, you know, I go around the room and do the people that have been there the shortest time or the new people. But I know it works everywhere for the same, just gets more personal.
Yeah, so you're intending to send the Reiki out to the whole room and then going around and giving some spot treatments to individuals during the meditation.
Yes, and one more thing, that if somebody leaves on a not so firm basis, if somebody leaves, I usually do Reiki to everywhere, to more than just the room, all the staff. I even do sage, stuff like that. So
Okay, great. So yeah, so you give Reiki to the staff also, and they come to the meditations.
some of them do. Yeah, they enjoy it.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for that meditation. That was very relaxing. So, well, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your knowledge. And thank you, Louisiana Squad. Wow, a lot of love there and appreciation. We're so grateful for you all joining us. And this is
And for the treatment, I made these stickers.
yeah, what does it say? Oh, I received Reiki at Rocky Mountain Detox, Colorado Addiction Recovery Services. Well, gratitude to them
And I'll
for
give these out to you guys, Louisiana, when
okay, that's awesome.
right.
Well, tell your employer that we are very grateful for them allowing you to incorporate Reiki, and consider connecting with Center for Reiki Research. They could guide you on
I
how
will.
to create a research study that could get published and get this out. You could also consider writing an article for the Reiki News magazine.
Sure.
You can find out more about that on reiki.org. And
Okay.
so if they want to contact you after this podcast, how do they get a hold of you, Day?
Well, I'm on Facebook, Dave Farley, Reiki, and then just that's my main, and Grateful Day at Gmail.
Grateful Day at Gmail, spelled DAI.
DAI, yep.
Okay. All right, wonderful. And my website is KarenHarrison.net and my YouTube is Karen Harrison Reiki. Thank you so much for joining us, and I look forward to connecting with you all on future podcasts. If you'd like to be on my email list, you can go sign up at KarenHarrison.net, and that way you'll get the email or with the reminder to join in and the recording, or you can just catch it wherever you get your podcast. So thank you so much, and hugs and blessings to all of you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Louise.